talking to a lot of people. He's not saying, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Very hard to identify that type of person as a threat.
That is the mayor of Colorado Springs. Let's go live to Colorado Springs and check in with ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, McGraw. Yes, we'll have the first court appearance today for the suspect in this case. Robert Deere will appear via video before a judge who will advise him of his rights, let him know about the charges that are being contemplated against him, the state charges, which could carry a capital punishment if there's a conviction. The feds also are looking at potentially filing domestic terrorism charges if the state charges somehow fall through, McGraw.
Now, what do we know about this Robert Louis Deere?
Not a lot. He came out here to Colorado from the Carolinas, where he did have some minor run-ins with the law. He had had complaints from his then wife. They've been divorced for some time, accusing him of domestic violence. He had been accused of shooting a dog, one of the neighbor's dogs, with a pellet gun. There'd been a peeping Tom allegation against him, too. He also had filed complaints against some of his neighbors, saying that they had stolen things from him, that they had disconnected the sewer line from his house. So it's gone both ways, but apparently minor infractions, certainly compared with what happened on Friday, McGraw.
A lot of people want to attach their own political views on this because it was or was not part of a Planned Parenthood situation. Do we know if Planned Parenthood was targeted in this?
Not really. I mean, you've heard some of the quotes perhaps over the weekend. ABC has not confirmed any of those. What we have been told by FBI sources is that he made some comments directed toward in expressing animosity toward Planned Parenthood at the time. He also said something about the president. It rose to such a level that the Secret Service is being called out here to investigate this case as well.
Those words, those comments he made about President Obama, that was before he was arrested?
No.
or while he was being arrested?
While he was being arrested. He apparently had some, bizarre, disjointed comments about Planned Parenthood, about the president, maybe about some other things the police won't say. But this all came at the time of his arrest, after the shooting and after the 5-hour standoff, McGraw.
Do we know, does he have a lawyer? Is there going to be a court-appointed lawyer?
Apparently that will happen today as well, that he'll be given that opportunity to have an attorney appointed to him. We have to assume that he can't afford one. The place he lived in the Carolinas had no electricity, no running water, a little shed, essentially. The place he lives here is about 70 miles west of Colorado Springs, a travel trailer, also with apparently no services to it.
Jim Ryan, ABC News correspondent, live in Colorado Springs. The victims, what's the total count, and what do we know about them?
3 victims, 3 people died. A man, the civilian man, an Iraq war vet, Kier Stewart, Jennifer Markovsky, a woman who was here with a friend going to the Planned Parenthood clinic, and then, of course, police officer Garrett Swayze. All 3 of those caught in this crossfire. 9 other people were injured, including 5 police officers, none with life-threatening injuries. They're all to be released today, and in fact may have been released over the weekend, McGraw.
So 5 police officers total. One of them was killed.
5 were injured, 1 was killed, so 6 police officers altogether. And remarkably, the suspect is alive in this case. Stepping outside with a rifle, intending on giving up. I mean, the police couldn't be clear of what his intentions were. He did surrender, and now he's in custody. And
as of this point, we are assuming he acted alone.
Right, exactly. That came out fairly early on as well, that there apparently no one else involved in this.
Jim Ryan, ABC News correspondent. Thanks for checking in, Jim.
Thank you, McGraw.
7:54 here, Big 550 KTRS. I know everybody wants to attach their own political point of view on this, and while you certainly are allowed to do so, it's important to know the facts. We still don't know, it's still not confirmed, if he was targeting the Planned Parenthood or not. We can speculate, we can guess, but in situations like this, I prefer to deal with just the facts. That's not confirmed. As you said, ABC News has not confirmed it, and if it's not good enough for ABC News, it's not good enough for me. And so before we go off fully cocked and we have people going off half cocked, I'm going to wait to get all the facts before we know what's going on. So those are the facts. The latest from Colorado Springs. Jim Ryan, the best in the business, talking about the reclusive Robert Louis Deere, who was going to be arraigned. 7:55 here, Big 550 KTRS.
Well,